I think I did it. Now, what did I do? I will show you. I made this one-time jig. I'm not fussy about it because it's strictly proof of concept, and I really don't expect to ever need it again. But the idea is to have this come down in a controlled manner so I don't shake. Plant it in the middle, so I need this light with my particular helmet, so it's not bright enough without the backlight on. When the backlight comes on automatically to dim it. So that seems to have worked. Try it again. I've got 2 clamps on there to hold it steady, and then I just, in the light, guide it down, and I have to pull the trigger too, of course. So that seems to work. This is my test strip here. I tried a multitude of different ways to get some kind of arc. I was thinking of a spot weld, and I tried doing that with the tip from the MIG welder yesterday, and it didn't work with beans. But I was getting a good arc, but it just would not adhere. Part of the problem is that I've got such a large base for current to flow. It's hard to get enough arc and current through the nail head that I'm using. These are panel nails. They happen to be 5/64 thick diameter, so I've decided to use them. They're roughly the same as the ones that were there previously. And here's 3 that I've welded on, and they seem to be holding fairly well. I'm not going to push it, so once it's in, it's not likely to break, so why break it before? But that is certainly the most success I've had so far. It does leave some browning, some burning of the stainless, but that polishes out, so I'm not worried about that. Just the trick is to make sure you don't arc off the edge and burn the edge of the stainless. But at least it is down near the bottom of the door, so if it was burnt on one side all the way along, that wouldn't be a problem. But it's best to avoid it at all costs. One thing to note is that I've turned off the clutch. I've disengaged the drive for the feed wire. So the wire is still in the handle, but it's not going anywhere because it can't be driven by the MIG. The tip, of course, is hot electrically, so that conducts through the bolt, through the nail, and arcs it onto the stainless. I obviously need some kind of arm to move things down in a controlled manner. There's so much trouble all of a sudden. Well, it's attached, certainly not in the middle. I don't know how I managed that, other than being clumsy. It certainly has a better success rate than trying to do it freehand. So I have this C-clamp, which is serving 2 purposes. One is to plant the trim in the groove and hold it there. The other is to make electrical contact, so I have the ground clamp attached to it at the back, out of the way. I just ran the router freehand to make this groove, just with a straight 90-degree bit, and that just holds the piece down in there once it's clamped with the nut. So I'll try the other ones that are needed, see how it goes. Sometimes I seem to be able to do this better without the head on, and sometimes with the head on, so I'm not sure what that tells me, other than I'm inconsistent. Here's the first one completed. These are the new nails. And here's the originals. They're a little smaller. You can see this is one of the better ones, and you can see that it's got some rust. They are a little bit on the weak side, but I don't know how strong these are either. So what I'm going to do from now on is when I put these on, I'm going to punch the holes through first in the cardboard, and then I'm going to find some clips that can push on here, and then I'll cut off what's sticking out. And the original, they drove these through and then bent them over behind, and I'm not sure that I can do that without breaking them off. I'm confident that they'll last if they don't get any sideways force, any shear force. So I'll try that and see what happens. I might have to redo this, but I think this should work. And then I'll have to polish areas where it's been browned from the MIG. And I've tried it a few spots. It does polish up, so I'll be a little aggressive with it, and we'll see. I'll show you the final result. That's a little more what I wanted to see. Let's see if that worked. I turn this just to break the connection, and sometimes the weld is so weak that that breaks it free, which I guess is one way of testing it. Now I pry it off. There we go. Seems to be holding. If you're going to do this, get a board that does not have a chunk missing out of it. That's causing all sorts of trouble. Just take the coating off on the head. It's shiny. Helmet down. Activate. It goes red like that, it usually is not a good sign. We'll see if this one held or not. Did not. Seems like it should be such a simple process. Okay, that one had a better arc. I'm finding that when I file it, I'm tending to get it a little more rounded. So I'm going to try drilling out just a little bit of the head, then remove the coating, like that, and see if that helps. Can be taught. Ground wire. That might be it. Apparently I can't be taught. Thrill of the chase or something. The burn marks that I have on the strips have come from having too hot a setting and leaving the tip on too long. There's probably the worst one there. The others are just browned. And I think those will probably polish out. And I have a bit of slag there to get rid of. Stay tuned. I find that sometimes when I'm putting the wire through, it won't clear the tip. Doesn't seem to want to thread through. So what I will do is feed the wire through initially and then put the tip on, which makes it a lot easier. Engage the clutch. Here it comes. And then put this on. There. Good as new. Or old, as the case may be. Here's the trim strips after polishing. All the brown is gone. All polished off. There are a couple I have to replace, a couple nails. So I gave them a flick sideways to make sure they were strong when they fell off. The other ones all seem to be good. I do have to straighten this one a bit more yet, as far as the strip goes, but I've been finding it pretty easy to straighten, so I'm not worried about that. There it is. A very hard to find stainless steel strip for the doors. Repaired. Oh, it's good to be cheap. I also have to do these trim pieces. I've done this one. You just go on the edge of the door and hold it against the actual metal. Those nails go into slots to cut in the door, and they count on the crimping of the metal after the nail has been driven in to hold them in place. Most of them are broken on these strips, so I'll show you how I did it. It's a slightly different technique than with the thicker metal. This is very thin and it burns through quite quickly. Some of the additional scratchings that you see were filed off the paint. That's for the ground nut that I clamped. Okay, so this one's ready to go, sitting in place. And I kind of try and almost vibrate it in to get a double strike. I found that works to hold it without burning through the metal. Again, on the minimum setting of the MIG welder. Nope, not quite. I didn't think it would work. It wasn't quite what I was looking for. What I got to do in this one is put that tab down temporarily. Changing how I can approach the metal. I get 2, you might as well go for 4. Not as important with this thin metal, I don't think, but I have drilled the nail heads out just slightly. I think it probably would have been fine without that though in these ones. It's just an issue with the thicker metal. I welded the nail back together, as you can see. Not a success, I'm not sure. I have to put on the wire feed and do a very slow, low power weld on there. I have welded material this thin before. Actually succeeded. Sometimes desperation's good. On the studs that I had to replace, the stainless steel strip is on the bottom side underneath, and these are the studs I welded on, which are panel nails. I've put rubber, 1/16 rubber. Seem to grip better with these clips. These clips I made because I can't find any that are the right size to hold on there. I was hoping to get some kind of push clip like this, but I can't find any. A number 4 screw is still too big for that. So I could have used thicker nails, but these panel nails seem to be about the right size lengthwise, and they seem to be a thickness that was weldable, so that's what I went with, and I didn't want them going over the edge of the stainless and being visible. So that's what I used. The rubber seems to help. This is just strapping steel band for pallets, and I've drilled a, I think it was a number 43 drill. I'll check on that. And then I used a punch to bevel them out, and then a hammer to flatten them down a bit to get the right size. So hopefully you can see that. And they seem to hold quite well. The rubber helps get it into the part of the stud that has the ribs on it. So if you go too low, then there's no ribs. And this one's holding, but some of them are loose. This one has to be driven down a bit more. But the rubber definitely helps with that. This is one of the originals. Probably don't need the rubber on that, but it's there anyway. So we'll see if these studs are too long for banging against the door. I might have to put another strip on it just to keep it away from the door a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it will not cause a problem. Now I just have to re-drill some of these holes because the studs that I had to replace are in slightly different places. I'll drill it out with a larger hole, and that will help to make it easier to get it on there. Here are the old bits of strapping steel, or steel strapping as it's called, that I'll be using, and I've used already on the other one, the other retainers I made. So need about a 1/2 inch long for each one. I need another 9 from what I've previously made. So I'll take this one, drill it. The length is certainly not important. Somewhere near 1/2 inch would be fine. And I've taken a number 47 drill from the index. This is 0.077, so 77 thousandths. And the nails are 5/64 or 8. It was 805, 80.5 thousandths. So I'll drill the holes with this, and I'll dimple them with a punch, and then I'll flatten them a bit with the hammer to get a good edge to hang onto the ribs that are on this. It is 36 degrees outside today, I think. Might be 37. I'm in the shop. Apologies for any shirtlessness, the old guy, but it's a little warm in here. There's a strip, got the hammer, persuader, here's the punch, which is an old one that was broken. I beveled it down to a semi-point years ago.